Pentagon upgrades its hypersonic weapon test range. Radiance Technologies has been awarded a minimum $149.6 million cost plus fixed fee contract to upgrade infrastructure and instrumentation at the Reagan Test Range, the Department of War announced. The sole source contract runs for 5 years with no option periods and carries a performance completion date of April 10, 2031. Defense Logistics Agency Aviation at Redstone Arsenal, Alabama, is the contracting activity. The Huntsville, Alabama-based company will be responsible for improvement and modernization projects across the range's existing infrastructure and instrumentation suite. Using customers under the contract include the Army and federal civilian agencies, each of which is solely responsible for its own share of funding, meaning appropriation types and fiscal years vary depending on which customer is drawing on the contract at a given time. Reagan Test Range occupies one of the most strategically significant pieces of real estate in the entire U.S. military testing enterprise. Located at Kwajalein Atoll in the Marshall Islands in the Central Pacific Ocean, the range provides the Department of War with a vast ocean expanse over which long-range ballistic missiles, re-entry vehicles, and increasingly hypersonic systems can be tracked from launch to impact. The distance from the continental United States to Kwajalein, roughly 2,500 miles southwest of Hawaii, gives the range the geographic depth needed to observe missiles across the full arc of their flight, something no continental test facility can replicate at scale. The range's instrumentation network is what makes that tracking possible. Radars, optical sensors, telemetry systems, and data collection infrastructure positioned across Kwajalein and associated islands in the atoll gather measurements throughout a test event, capturing velocity, trajectory, re-entry behavior, and terminal accuracy data that engineers use to validate and refine weapon systems. That instrumentation is not static. As the systems being tested grow more capable and more complex, the sensors and data infrastructure supporting those tests must keep pace. The modernization contract Radiance Technologies has been awarded is aimed squarely at closing that gap. Radiance Technologies is a defense-focused engineering and technology company headquartered in Huntsville, a city that sits at the center of the U.S. Army's missile and space enterprise. The company works across a range of national security programs, with particular depth in testing, evaluation, and systems engineering disciplines that align directly with what Reagan Test Range demands of its support contractors. The sole source nature of the award reflects the specialized knowledge required to work on a facility of this sensitivity and technical complexity. The U.S. military is in the midst of an accelerating push to develop and field hypersonic weapons missiles that travel at speeds exceeding Mach 5 and maneuver during flight in ways that challenge existing detection and intercept systems. The Army's long-range hypersonic weapon, the Navy's Conventional Prompt Strike program, and a range of classified efforts all require test infrastructure capable of tracking and characterizing vehicles moving at extreme speeds across long distances. Reagan Test Range, with its Pacific geography and existing sensor architecture, is one of the few places in the world where such testing can be conducted at operationally relevant ranges. Ballistic missile defense testing has long been a core mission at Kwajalein. The range has supported intercept tests for the ground-based mid-course defense system, the nation's primary homeland missile defense architecture, as well as tests of the Terminal High-Altitude Area Defense System and other interceptor programs. As North Korea continues to expand its ballistic missile inventory and China fields increasingly sophisticated strategic systems, the demand for realistic long-range test opportunities has only intensified. Infrastructure that was adequate for the testing requirements of a previous decade may no longer meet the standards that current and future programs require. The 5-year contract structure, running through April 2031, gives Radiance Technologies and the range's user community a defined window to execute upgrades without the uncertainty of option period renewals. For programs that depend on range availability, particularly hypersonic test campaigns that require careful scheduling across multiple agencies, that kind of contractual stability has practical value. Reagan Test Range remains one of the Department of War's most consequential and least publicly visible testing assets. The $149 million modernization contract ensures it stays current with the demands being placed on it by the next generation of American strategic and strike programs.